my position, I guess we'll start there, Sustainability Coordinator for Housing and Dining Services. Housing and Dining Services is an auxiliary to the rest of the university, so we really deal with residence halls, dining centers, things like that. One of the principles of sustainability is, or I guess smaller umbrellas, is looking at the concept of waste management and what you can do to eventually reach the goal of having zero waste in your operation. And we had originally began April 2011, so it was just before I came into my position here at the university. They had purchased the Earthflow, the composter out there, and began to figure out how could we process internally some of the food waste that we're creating within our dining halls. Food waste is a fairly easy, I guess, waste stream to manage. There's a lot of opportunity out there for it to be utilized as energy or as nutrients for plants. And so as we basically maxed out our composter is operating at full tilt between Ramshorn Dining Center and Braden on the south side with the pulped food waste that comes out of there, which you saw with the photos today. We started looking at other avenues as to what we could do to continue to increase diverting our waste, especially when Durrell Center comes online, as well as Allison getting on board and Corbett Parmalee starting to compost as well. We're just going to have more and more food waste. And so we had been in talkings with the city for quite some time. Even before I got here, this idea was bouncing around. And I guess now that my position had been created and there was someone to sort of be a champion for the project, to really help pull all the people together and help push it forward, it came to fruition. Basically, they take our food waste to the Drake wastewater treatment plant, located on the south side of Fort Collins. They dump it directly into their system. The wastewater treatment plant processes all the gray water and black water for the entire city of Fort Collins. And what it does is it takes carbon-based materials, allows them to naturally decompose, and then through that it creates methane that comes off of it, and then that methane is used as energy for that facility to help power it. For the program specifically with the city of Fort Collins, we divert 1,000 pounds a day. Our goal is to continue increasing that. We're doing it slowly, in large part because we're not sure, one, how it's going to affect the system at the Drake wastewater treatment plant, because this has never been done before there, contaminants, things like that. And two, we want to make sure operation-wise they have the time on their end, because it just takes time to load those bins. They currently don't have a mechanical loader. They sort of have this weight balance system loader, so there's some physical labor involved, and you have to account for that with cost of operation. It's pretty much running at this point, and that's probably in large part running so smoothly because we've had our compost system up and running. I mean, there's really not much of a difference between what goes to the compost and what goes to the city. Yeah, if we didn't have the composter and we were just getting started, there'd be a lot more growing pains. I mean, we have universal signage throughout most docks as explaining like what's a full bin, what's not a full bin, what can go into these bins, what can't go into these bins. We have training for student hourlies that occur when they come in to just educate them as to what can be compostable, what's recyclable, what's true trash. So we have a lot of the pieces already up and running, so it's not that hard at this point, I think, to expand to another piece. Making sure contaminants is probably at a higher level of value than with the composter, because if we have trash in there, it's not that hard to pick it out of the composter, versus if it goes into this anaerobic digestion system, I mean, it's all closed loop, like you can't see it practically. And if it were to damage or get caught somewhere in there, it's a very, very expensive process, and there could be potential damage associated with it. So we try and do our best to make sure that what goes to the city is absolutely and purely only food waste.